Hey friends, Dave here, and today I'm going to show you how to get perfectly straight and professional looking prints when you're printing with your heat press. Now in this video, we are going to say goodbye to crooked prints and cover some pro level tips so you could be an efficient and confident apparel decorator with quality prints your customers are going to want to wear. Now, all regardless of your skill level or experience printing custom t-shirts. After you watch this video, you'll be printing like a pro. Now, proper print placement does not happen by luck or just by eyeballing it, regardless of how easy experts or people who have been printing t-shirts for decades make it look. It's all going to start with loading your t-shirt on the press correctly. Now, while tools like the rulers or the lasers or the ProPlace IQ projection system from Hottronics are absolutely phenomenal for helping with alignment, they all depend on one thing, and that is a properly loaded and placed garment on your press. So in this video, we're going to focus on techniques for loading your garment, finding the center of your transfer, and some extra tips for double checking tricky items like hoodies and those pesky pocket tees. Now, if you need more guidance on print placements, you can check out our full video on print placement and positioning that we're gonna link right down in the description below. But are you ready? Let's get to it. Now, when it comes to getting your shirts on the heat press, there are two ways that you could do it. Now, the first is gonna be just laying your t-shirt on top of the press, which you could do with any press on the market. And it's going to make it very easy and straightforward, especially for beginners. Now here, we're going to be laying the t-shirt onto the lower platen of the press in whatever orientation that makes sense for us. So you could do it right side up, so you see the shirt as you regularly would with the collar away from you or at the back of the press, or you could do it upside down with the collar facing you. Which, say on like a clamshell style press that we have right here, if our collar is aligned at the back, well, we're going to have difficulty seeing the exact placement to ensure that our shirt is centered, especially up here at our collar. However, with this method, we're primarily going to check each side of the press to ensure it's even on those sides all the way down the platen. Now, one thing about laying on top is that you are gonna have to worry about any wrinkles in the second layer of fabric, like the back of the shirt too, not just the front. That's going to impact your pressure and can show up in your final print. Now, of course, if your heat press has the capability to be threadable, that's going to help speed up your loading as well. So here we're gonna open the shirt up like a pillowcase and then just slide it on, right? So we're only dealing with one layer of fabric. Now, our t-shirt is going to be upside down in relation to us though. So here we could check the sleeve seam and where it meets the body of the garment here for the distance on each side, ensuring our shirt is centered on the press. But we're also going to need to confirm the body of the garment isn't twisted. So a clear look down the sides of the platen are going to let us know if our garment is skewed in any way. You'll clearly see that one side is going to be lower than the other side. Now, this is very easy to gauge with a side seamed t-shirt because you have the side seam. You'll see that it's maybe 3 inches on one side and right on the edge of the platen on the other. We know it's twisted. But this process is made so much easier regardless if it's a side seamed or tubular tee by loading the shirt all the way onto the press. So if you're holding the sides of the garment when loading on straight, right here with these seams aligned to these shoulder seams at the top of the press, you're likely going to have a nice, straight, perfect placement on your lower platen. Now, optional platens like the tag-along HP platen for Hottronics heat presses actually gives you this neck and shoulder shape, which really helps grab the collar of the shirt and center it up for you, really speeding up your efficiency at press and your entire printing process. Now, of course, if you're hesitant about loading the shirt on the press, we could always just fold it over, right? So matching the seams and the sleeves on each side to each other, just like this. Then what we'll do is we could put this on our press, ensuring that we are nice and even the whole way down, and just gently give this a slight crease. We're not gonna put full pressure on this, just a little bit. And so here, that's going to give our garment a center line right down the middle of our shirt, right? So this is fantastic if you're just getting started. And you could also use this as a tool to see how accurate you're actually loading your shirts on press, right? So if I were to open this up and do that technique that we just described with loading, holding the side seams, going all the way down, and making sure our collar is aligned, checking our seams, taking the collar off the platen, we can see that our center line that we made is actually directly centered in our press, and our technique worked perfectly. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that taking this step on every single shirt could easily double or even triple the time it takes to decorate just one shirt. Not necessarily the most profitable use of your time. Now, mastering one of these other loading techniques can really help speed up your production to help you maximize your time and your profit. Now, while we did touch on side seams, not all garments are going to have them, and this is what we call tubular tees. Now, in lieu of those side seams, depending on the specific blank, you may have some creases in the blank that are from the garments being manufactured. If you ever see the term quarter turned in a blank description on a tubular tee, it's going to note that these creases are going to be where the side seams would be. And in some cases, you may even have that centerline crease straight out of the box, which is nice, but you're going to want to verify, as fabric sometimes twists as it relaxes, changes temperature, is stored in boxes, or just absorbs moisture from the air. Now, regardless of how you're loading your garment on the press, the one thing that's going to help with perfect prints is a lower platen protector, just like we have here with our quick slip pad protector. Now, this is going to help garments slide on and slide off, speeding up loading, especially if you are opening the shirt and threading it on the press. But another benefit is that it's not grabbing or snagging on the fabric, right? Because this rubber is actually quite sticky when we're putting garments on it. If the garment is accidentally stretched, as most foam on these heat presses here are quite sticky to fabric, your print may end up, well, just a little skewed, and that's something that we absolutely want to avoid. Now, regardless of the style of shirt, before printing, we are going to check the neck opening and where it meets these shoulder seams, right? Now, this is important for any center chest print, left chest print, full front, or even your back prints, right? So we could use our hand on each side of the press here, just gauge the distance. Of course, you can measure it. We just want to ensure that the edges of the platen here are right where our hands are, right? So we could see that we're probably about an inch away on this side, and over on this other side, yep, an inch. So we know that we're exactly centered right here on the press. Now, this is something that you're going to be able to eyeball with just a little bit of experience, just to see that that distance on either side is going to be the same for you. Now, one word of wisdom as we're talking about the neck opening is this one looks pretty good, right? This tag is perfectly centered, but that's not the case with every single shirt that you're going to press. The tag can be sewn inconsistently quite often. Now, just like that, our t-shirt is loaded on straight and centered, making print placement for us so much more accurate and easy. But of course, we do need our print to be centered too. Now, a simple trick for centering your print is to fold your transfer in half. And that's super easy with a clear carrier, like with direct-to-film transfers, like our industry-leading Ultracolor Max. All we're gonna have to do is just gently crease it here after we align the ink on each edge to itself. And you could even make sure that it's not skewed in any way by checking the top and the bottom. On screen print transfers like this goof-proof transfer from Transfer Express or any paper carrier transfers, we could just hold it up to the light to see the ink through the page and ensure we've got the exact center. Again, adding this step with every print can really add up. I typically recommend doing this for the first few and then just taking note of where the center of the transfer is and then aiming for that specific element with every other shirt you're printing on that design. Now, if it's square printed on the carrier, you could just align the carrier itself to the edges of the platen, knowing that you're going to be nice and straight. And just like that, we've got perfectly centered prints. Now, before we wrap up, I do want to stress that the neck opening is what we're always going to use as our key when we are printing those center chest, full front, left chest prints, or even our back prints, as other elements or points where we're going to anchor our print to on the shirt can be very inconsistent. The top two culprits of this are pockets on hoodies, just like mine, and pocket t-shirts, right? You're gonna see them skewed, crooked, or just plain off center. Now, unfortunately for things like pocket tees, if you're printing a left chest print above the pocket or on the pocket, you need to align to the pocket because it's gonna look really weird if the pocket's all the way over here and then your print is here, right? You don't wanna do that. You want it to be aligned with the pocket regardless of how true or skewed that pocket is sewn on. It's going to look a lot worse if the print isn't aligned. One thing I do want to point out is that this hoodie that I'm wearing right now does have the pocket slightly off center, right? So if we were to center our print to this pocket, it's going to be slightly off center and not exactly right in the middle, like if we keyed up to my neckline right here. But how are you feeling? You feeling confident in spot on perfect print placements? Are you printing right now and just nailed it? Let us know down in the comments below, but I want to quickly recap everything we covered here today. So number one, we want to make sure we're properly loading our garments using the seams or edges of the garment as our guides. Use those fixed placements where the sleeve meets the body of the garment and ensure that we're centered there and again at the bottom of the garment. Now we also want to center our heat transfers if we need to with the quick folding technique. And of course, we want to double check any tricky garments like hoodies and pocket tees for those little alignment quirks that they might have. And that's going to vary from one to the next, right? Not every single one is going to be consistent. But I want you to take your time, check your alignment from multiple angles, kind of like we did here today, and remember that perfect prints start with the right prep. You absolutely could do this. I promise, just 10 shirts from right now, you're going to be printing like an absolute pro. Now, for more print placement tips, be sure to check out the video that we linked down in the description below, and be sure to subscribe right here to the Transfer Express YouTube page for all of the heat printing tips, tricks, inspiration, and education that we're dropping every single week. But until next time, I'm Dave. Happy pressing. Hey friends, Dave here, and today, go right, 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 right. I'm Dave. Happy pressing. Right.